If you were told that your MP was a champion for Age Concern, Age UK it's called now, and they were going to champion the needs and the rights for pensioners who might be struggling with all sorts of things, you'd be pleased about that, wouldn't you? You'd think you had someone in your corner. So I think you'd be doubly surprised to find out that these MPs, who have set themselves up recently in this position, voted to take away the winter fuel allowance. Here's the list. Barry Gardner for Brent West, Margaret Raynham for Dagenham, Frank McNally for Coatbridge and Bellshill, Olivia Blake for Sheffield Hallam, Sarah Champion for Rotherham, Fabian Hamilton for Leeds North East, Mark Seward for Leeds South West and Morley, Clive Betts for Sheffield South and Derek Twigg of Widnes. That's your list. Are they your MPs? Because these people decided to take your winter fuel allowance away. If you've got a nan or granddad or grandparents that are struggling, these people will help them to struggle further, but simultaneously set themselves up as some icon of decency for Age UK. Now, Age UK, as far as I'm concerned, isn't out the mire yet for having an ambassador like Esther Ranson, who was visceral about those pensioners that hadn't taken the rollout, saying that they should be denied medical care, or they should at least have the decency not to ask for it during the pandemic that was blown up all out of proportion. So not only do Age UK have her as an ambassador, they have these people on their books as champions of Age UK who voted to take the winter fuel allowance. Now, Labour's own risk assessment said that approximately 4,000 pensioners would die this winter, a cold and lonely death because they can't afford to switch the heating on. Add to that, there are people who use oxygen machines that take up an awful lot of electricity that are already rationing themselves because they don't want to end up with big bills, and it hasn't even got cold yet. So let's do the list again, then we don't forget it. Make a note of it if it's your MP. Barry Gardner, Brent West, Margaret Raynham at Dagenham, Frank McNally, Coatbridge and Bellshill, Olivia Blake, Sheffield Hallam, Sarah Champion, Rotherham, Fabian Hamilton, Leeds North East, Mark Seward, Leeds South West and Morley, Clive Betts, Sheffield South and Derek Twigg of Widnes. Thank you for putting yourselves first, for even not having the gonads to stand up against your own party. They said, Age Concern, in a letter to someone who questioned this, that the reason they'd voted with the government on this and not against it was because they wanted to stay in the Labour Party and affect policy and keep the pressure on Keir Starmer and the Chancellor. The first job of keeping the pressure on is to go against what they're suggesting. And if they threaten to lose the whip, the best thing you could have done would have been to expose them to the public for taking the whip off you, because your party is diminishing every single day because they are treating people in this country like we are communists. So that's your list. They voted to take the winter fuel allowance, yet Age UK have decided that they're pretty good people to have on board to champion the cause for the elderly. I beg to differ.